Welcome back. In the last video, we learned what a class is, a blueprint, and how the constructor in it sets up an object the moment it is created. Today we go further. We make our objects actually do things. Right now our dog class knows its name and breed, but it cannot do anything. In the real world, QA engineers do not just store data. They click buttons, fill forms, submit reports, log results. Today you will learn how to give your objects those abilities using methods. And then we go one level deeper, inheritance, where one class can build on top of another, inheriting everything the parent class knows. By the end of this episode, you will have built your first real page object model, the exact pattern used in professional QA teams worldwide. Let us start. What is a method? Real life analogy first. Before we write any code, let me show you what a method actually is with something everyone understands. Okay, let's take a bank example. Okay, a bank account has data, your account number, your balance, your name, but it also has actions, things you can do with that, right? For example, deposit of amount, like adding money to the bank account, withdraw of amount, take money out, and you can get the balance as well, right? So these actions are not separate functions floating around somewhere. They belong to the account, right? So here account is object, okay, and these deposit, withdraw, get balance, these are all the actions you perform on that object. Okay, you should understand that way. They know about the account's balance, they can change the account's balance, right? So you do not call deposit of account comma 500, you call like account dot deposit of 500. You are performing the deposit action on that account object, right? So the action belongs to the object. The action has access to object's data. Okay, this is method. Okay, a method is a function that lives inside a class and operates on object's own data using self. Okay, so all these actions, whatever we perform on that object, will be inside that class, okay, and operates on that object's own data. Okay, the methods will be able to access the object's data and it performs some actions on it. Okay, that is the whole meaning of it. And in Python, the advantage is we have a self. That means if we pass the self inside that method, objects, all details will be able to access through that self, right? So yeah, okay, I hope you understood. So let's write this code in Python. Yeah, let's start with the class. Okay, I'll write a bank account class bank account. Okay, and let me write the constructor def underscore underscore init underscore. What is the first argument? Self. Okay, self comma owner comma balance equal to 0. Okay, and yeah, these are the two arguments I am taking, owner and balance. So defaultly balance will be 0. Okay, if I don't send any value, balance will be taken as 0. That is the meaning of this. If I send, then that would be overridden with this 0. Next, constructor is over. Next method. Okay, so deposit is a method. Okay, it's an action. Okay, the actions are called methods. So here deposit is a method and self. So self is the first argument. Okay, self dot balance equal to balance. This means balance plus amount. Okay, so next let me print that. Print of, yeah, we can say this. Okay, so this is the deposit amount. So what happens? Deposit means what? Whatever the balance is there, for that whatever additional amount you are adding, that will be added, right? That is what happening here. So this is the balance, and every time when you call this method, amount whatever you want to deposit into this bank account, that will be added to the balance. Okay, so that added value will be printed here. Okay, so the next method is def withdraw. Okay, so okay, if amount greater than self dot balance, okay, the amount whatever you want to withdraw that is greater than balance, then insufficient funds, right? Suppose if we have 100 rupees in our account and if you want to withdraw 200 rupees, then it's insufficient balance, right? So that's what we get. Else, that means if amount is less than balance, so balance is more and the amount whatever you want to withdraw is less, then balance minus equal to amount. This means every time balance equal to balance minus amount. This means, so from the balance would be the subtracted amount of the amount whatever withdrawn, right? So that is the withdraw method. Okay, so the next method is def get balance. Okay, so return self dot balance. Self means what? The instance of the current class. Okay, current object. Object's balance we are just returning. That's what we are doing in this. Okay, so yeah, so till now we have done the class definition, right? So now let's call this, create an object for this and call the methods. Okay, account equal to bank account of Alice 1000. Okay, so this means amount here, this is the balance. Okay, it is, this constructor is called, right, for the first time, then this amount would be added to this balance. So now our balance is 1000 rupees. Next we are calling the deposit, 500 rupees we want to deposit. Next withdraw 200, we want to withdraw 200. Next let's withdraw 2000. Okay, let's see whether we get the insufficient message or not. Okay, and print of account dot get balance. Get balance of, right? Yeah, so now let's run and see what happens. Yeah, see here, that is the balance. So for the first deposited, so initially when the customer is called, the balance is 1000 rupees. So now deposited 500, that means balance is 1500. Withdrawn 200, 1500 minus 200, 1300. And then next balance in 2000 we tried to withdraw, right? So that means it's an insufficient funds. Next balance is 1300. So balance is 1300, we tried to withdraw 2000, that's why we got the insufficient funds. Okay, I think now you're clear on the methods and calling the methods and use of methods, right? Yes. What is inheritance? Real life analogy first. Now, inheritance. This is the concept that takes classes from useful to powerful. Let me show you with a company example. Okay, suppose Imagine a company has three types of employees: a regular employee, a manager, and a senior manager. Okay, all three are employees. Okay, but the thing is, the roles are different, right? Okay, so a manager, he's also employee, but with extra responsibilities. Okay, and a senior manager who is also a manager, but with even more authority, right? This is the hierarchy. Every employee, no matter what level, he will have a name, an employee ID, a salary, and a method called introduce. Right? Every employee has he can introduce himself, right? So introduce also will be there as a method inside that. This is about employee. Okay, all these details and methods would be applicable to all the three employees: regular employee, manager, and senior employee, like name, employee ID, salary, and introduce method. Okay, common to all three people. Okay, now a manager also has a team he manage, right? And a method called run stand up. Okay, so he may be responsible for running the stand up calls. Okay, so and a senior manager also has a budget they control. Okay, right? So senior managers mostly would be thinking about the budget, those stuff, right? And the additional method what he has is approve budget. Okay, a manager will have additional method run stand up that is not applicable to employee. Okay, and senior manager will have approve budget. Okay, now should you write name, employee ID, and salary three times for these three classes? All employee, manager, senior manager. Okay, everywhere do we need to write all, because these three are applicable to all the three people. But do we write these three fields in three classes? No, right? Because yeah, no. That the reason is it's a duplicate thing, right? Okay. So now the concept inheritance come into picture here. Okay, you write them once in the base employee class. The manager class inherits everything from the employee and adds its own things on top. The senior manager inherits from manager, okay, which is already inherited from employee, and adds more. Okay, employee will have the basic details, common details, we can say. The super class will have the common things. Okay, and the manager, senior manager will inherit the common details from their top level classes. Okay, so on a high level, common details we'll have to keep in one class. Okay, all the rest of the child classes, whoever can commonly having, they need to inherit those details from that class. Okay, yeah. Now let's see the code. Okay, yeah, so let's create employee class first. Okay, class employee colon def constructor init underscore of self comma name comma what will be having employee ID comma salary, right? These are the things, a basic employees details. Okay, so this is the constructor part is done. The next is method. Okay, what a basic employee will have? Introduce. Okay, introduce of self, return hi, yeah, my name, employee ID. Okay, right? Yeah, these are the details. He can introduce himself. Let's remove salary because it's not open thing. Okay. Yeah. So this is it. Even let's instead of returning, just print it here. Print off. Let's print this. Okay. Yeah. I'm printing this info. This is about employee class. Let me write the manager class. Okay. Class manager of employee. Okay, this is how you will inherit employee. Okay, so yeah, so if you want to inherit any class, you need to pass like this: class of manager of employee. Okay, yeah, let me okay, let me take the default one. Okay, here this is the constructor, right? In it, this is the constructor for manager. Okay, self name, employee ID, salary, and department or team. Okay, manager will have the team. Okay, and here also team and a team. Okay, so yeah, this is the constructor of this manager class. So here this is called superclass. This employee is the superclass or parent class. This manager is the subclass. Okay, because we are inheriting the properties of this employee into this manager. Okay, now if I call this manager, it will have the properties of this employee as well. Okay, so yeah, and common things we have written in the employee class as we discussed in our previously. So yeah, this is about this one, and manager is already there above, right? So now I will write one more method, run stand up. We discussed it, right? He is responsible for running stand up. Run stand up of, then let's print this. Print off let me write this way. Okay, who is running it? Self dot name, running stand up meeting with the team. Okay, this is about the manager class. Okay, manager is inheriting the properties of the employee. Okay, yeah, now we are done with the manager class as well. Now let's move on to the senior manager. Okay, so class senior manager. Okay, and inside that there is a constructor. Okay, salary, team, department, and here instead of conducting review we will say approve budget. Okay, approve budget. Okay, so yeah, so approve budget, yeah, here we are just printing that he's approving the budget for this department. Okay, yeah, this is about employee class, manager class, and senior manager class. Okay, so now see what happens. Let's do the calls. Okay, we created all the classes and corresponding methods. Now let's see calling, how we call it and how it works. Okay, now let's create object for the employee. Okay, so for employee you're passing this one, and what I'll do is I'll call the introduce method from the employee. Okay, this is done from employee side. From manager side, we'll do this thing. Name is Bob, and this one, and here what I'll do is, what are the parameters inside the manager? Okay, we are passing employee as the parameter. Okay, self name, employee ID, salary, and team we are passing additionally, right? So that team we are passing here as Charlie and David. Okay, run stand up from this manager class, and then we have the senior manager class, and similarly we are passing the data, and he is responsible for approving the budget. Okay, so let's run and see. Okay, so let's run these methods and see what happens. Okay, yeah, Python inheritance. Yeah, see here in the first method, employee introduce. Okay, we are calling, my name is Alice, my employee ID is 101. Manager, Bob is the manager, right? I'm passing manager as Bob. Bob is running a stand-up meeting with the team Charlie and David. Okay, next senior manager, approve budget. Charlie is approving the budget for the engineering department. Yeah, till now you have seen independent ones, right? You have taken the super classes into this manager, you did not see the power of the inheritance, right? Inheritance means here, see, if you see here, my name is Alice, employee ID, and the specific object specific messages only we are seeing here. Then what is the use of this employee, inheriting this employee, right? So we need to call this introduce, right? So now I'll show you the power of inheritance. Okay, see here, I will call here. Now I can clearly show you the difference. M.introduce. Okay, is introduced there inside this manager class? No, but still I'm able to call it. And in super senior manager also, sm.introduce, right? Now let's see. Okay, so my name is Alice, my employee ID is 101. My name is Bob, employee ID is this one. My name is Charlie. These things, this introduce method is not available in the senior manager and manager, because we just inherited from employee. Common details are here inside the employee. We are able to use that properties of this employee, the methods we can leverage from the super classes. Okay, though this introduce method is not available inside the subclasses manager and senior manager, I am able to call it and I am able to get the exact details of that particular manager. So what happens here, em dot introduce, suppose if I call that, what happens is, okay, it comes to this manager, right? It comes to the constructor first. Okay, self of this one is there, right? After that, super means above class. Okay, parent class, parent of this manager is employee. Okay, from super dot init will be called. Okay, so this constructor will be called from the super class. So what is the name? Here we are mapping the name of this manager. Okay, this manager's name will be mapped, employee will be mapped, salary will be mapped, and this will be called this one, and these details will be mapped here. Okay, for this class, for this manager, these details will be mapped. Okay, so when you call this, again you will call the introduce, right? Okay, from this complete, this will be treated, now this will be, everything will come into this manager class surveillance, right? So all these details are inside manager since we are inheriting it. So if we call this introduce, since these details are mapped here, manager details are mapped here, now we will see the manager name and manager employee ID here. Similarly, the same thing happens for the senior manager as well. Senior manager also, this is the same thing. See here. Okay, we are calling super init of, it will see see these arguments. Okay, then it will call the employee calls constructor, and it will map the data over there. And when we call senior manager objects dot introduce, because these details are set there, right, in the constructor, so the corresponding introduction details will be mapped over there. Okay, that is the advantage of this inheritance. Common things we can mention, simple rule is keep the common things inside one class for the rest of the classes, and inherit the properties of that parent class. Okay, that is the golden rule. One more important concept before we finish, which is nothing but method overriding. Okay, sometimes a child class needs to do the same thing as the parent class, but differently. Okay, for example, imagine a manager's introduce method. Previously, we have seen the employee and manager concept, right? So in that case, we called the same introduce method. Only one place it was declared at the employee level, and we called it from the manager level and senior manager level. Okay, and the same message we have shown, right? Like manager so and so something, some details, user employee so and so name, so and so age, something, some details, basic details. Everyone have shown the same details, right, in our previous example. But let's say I don't want to show that way. I want to show differently for different users. One method would be there at the parent level, but I want to show a different behavior for different classes, whoever overriding that, or whoever using it. Suppose like if parent class has this method and it has some behavior, but in the child class, in the manager class, and so senior manager class, I don't want to show the same behavior. I want to show a different pattern. Okay, in that case, this method, we have to use this method overriding. Okay, let's see that programmatically. I have taken the previous example only, manager and employee example. Here if you see, employee has this init and introduce method. Okay, in the introduce method, what he's saying is he's giving his name information and employee ID information. Okay, this manager is inheriting that employee. Here if you see here, right? So after that, it has its own method like run stand up. Now I told you like method overriding means the same method will be there like introduce method. Introduce is already there in the employee class, super class. Still I am creating another method for it, and inside that I am giving this manager specific information here. This manager and he manages what team he manages, like that information I am giving here. Okay, now instead, if I'll remove this and I'll show you the difference. No, I'm not overriding it. Okay, now let me run and show you what message for here. I created the object for this manager and I'm calling this introduce method. Now I'm just running. Okay, so if I call this introduce method, I got this message. My name is Bob, my employee ID is 102. Okay, this Bob specific information only we got with his employee ID. Okay, 102. So the next thing is, so this here what called here the super class introduce, this method got called. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm creating the same method introduce inside this manager class. Okay, now this manager class, what I'm printing here, my name is this one, employee ID is this, and I manage a team of this, and this additional information I'm giving. Now let me run the same thing. Okay, see here after method override, what I got, this different message I got, right? Different behavior. Okay, like this, if you create a senior manager class and then introduce, he can give his own message. Okay, same method we can override and we can show the different behavior specific to that manager. Okay, this is how the method overriding works. I hope this is clear.